Good morning po. Our 91st regular session is now called to order. Please everybody stand for our prayer and national anthem.
Manalangin tayo. Panginoong Diyos, itinataas namin ang iyong pangalan. Pinatupulihan at pinasasalamatan ka namin sa lahat ng iyong mga ginawa at pagpapala. Salamat sa panibagong araw na ipinagkaloob mo sa amin. At sa oras na ito na kami ay muling natipon. Gabayan niyo po kami sa aming mga gawain. Bigyan mo po kami ng talino at lakas upang magampanan po namin ang aming
mga kababayan, ang pambansang awit ng Pilipinas. Hayang mag-ibig, pero sa sinakanan, alam ng puso, sa bibig mo'y buhay, lupang hinirang, tuyan ka ng mag-ibig, sa manlulupin, di ka masisingin, sa nalagang tutok sa simoy at sa langit mong pagkaw, ay tinatangtula kami sa kanyang minamahal, ang isang ng matawag mo'y nabuhay na nagiging.
Madam Secretary, please call the roll.
The honorable members of the 11th Sangguniang Bayan, the Honorable Shermanin, Chua, Gatongay Jr., Bernardo, Sahibol, Ingson, Galan, Ong is currently on travel, Galang, Reyes, and our temporary presiding officer, Honorable Michael Jordan. There are 10 council members in attendance.
So we have a quorum to transact business. Letter E, reading in consideration of the minutes of the previous sessions, 89th and 98th regular sessions.
We would like to present to you for consideration and approval the minutes of the 89th regular session, minutes of the 89th regular session of the 11th Sangguniang Bayan of Sofronio Española held on October 14, 2024 at the session hall of the Sangguniang Bayan, Sofronio Española, Palawan. This was attended by the majority of the Sangguniang Bayan members. The temporary presiding officer, Councilor Duwatay Hermin, called the session to order at 9:43 in the morning. The temporary secretary called the roll after the prayer and the singing of the national anthem. With the attendance of the majority of the Sangguniang Bayan members, the presiding officer declared the presence of a quorum to transact official business. For reading and consideration of the minutes of the previous session, the minutes of the previous session were presented by the chair to the body for consideration and approval. Reading of previous minutes was dispensed as it was forwarded to them prior to the session and supported by Councilor Michael L. Jordan. Before the approval, the temporary presiding officer asked for comments from the body, but there were no further comments aside from the ones requested by Councilor Duwatay Hermin that the chair was relinquished because the regular presiding officer had visitors. There having no further comments and corrections from the body, the minutes of the 88th regular session held on October 7, 2024 were unanimously approved upon motion of Councilor Michael L. Jordan, duly seconded by Councilor Jonathan J. Ong. For the privileged question hour, Councilor Fred A. Gatongay Jr. sought the recognition of the presiding officer, the temporary presiding officer, and relayed his research about his denied travel subsequent to what transpired during previous session where there were invited guests and there were opinions and speculations. He further presented the legal basis he researched after the temporary presiding officer's acknowledgement of the members of Philippine National Police who responded to the request, adding that there had been a commotion and he was hit. Councilor Gatongay Jr. read the list of rules which included the local government code.
Okay, thank you, Madam. Any clarification or question? Konsehal Bernardo.
Thank you. Good morning. Dito sa yung nakaraan kasi wala kaming kopya ng privilege speech ni Councilor Gatongay. Itong nilibigyan niya ng emphasize itong Article 4, Section 50 na sabi niya pwede tayo mag-hold ng 2 session in a single day. Malinaw naman po dito sa kanyang binasa na ito ay sa Congress. Tayo po internal rules and procedure, section 6, no position in a single day. At sa section 52 dun sa Local Government Code of 1991, malinaw po nakasaad doon na no position in a single day. Ito po ay sa Congress. Hindi po natin ito siyang pwedeng basihan kasi yung national law, hindi po tayo doon, ay pero may mga national law na sakop tayo, pero pagdating dito sa pag-aid ng pagdala ng pamahala dito sa Local Government Code, ang pinakabibliya po natin ay Local Government Code of 1991. Itong Constitution 1987 Constitution ito, napanood din itong Local Government Code sa Local Government Code of 1991 na dito sa sinasabi dito na posible na magkaroon ng position in a single. Ako po, sa paniniwala ko po, hindi talaga pwede magkaroon ng position in a single. Malinaw po sa Local Government Code at sa ating internal rules and procedure.
Mr. President. Okay, masyadong ko lang. Okay.
Mamaya ko na po siguro sagutin dito sa may next program po. So, pananaw po yun ni Miss Bill. Hello. Mahina. Sanay ako sa malakas. Yun. Pananaw po ni Kagawad na Bernardo yun. Kung pwede po, kung saan man po siya pwede ipasok kung may na lang po. Pahapihan na lang po, lahat po ng mga sinusulong na batas sa ating Republika ng Pilipinas ay almost, hindi man 100% but ina-adapt po yan ng lahat ng munisipyo. Thank you very much.
Mr. President, so mga sa mga hindi kasi ito sa angkop sa atin. Itong National Constitution, it is tayo governed by the Local Government Code of 1991. Pang-Congress kasi ito siya, hindi naman tayo Congress, wala Sangguniang Bayan. Pang-Congress kasi ito, hindi po talaga natin pwede ito siyang i-adapt dito sa atin na sundin. Yung Congress kasi, nagsisession sila ng once a year, sa loob ng isang buwan, 30 days. Tayo, unless for session, parang yun ang natandaan ko, unless for session every month. Kaya hindi siya pwede magkaroon ng two session in a single day. Magkaiba po talaga tayo sa Congress. Kaya inaano ko ito kasi wala kong mga po tayo kopya nakaraan. Ngayon lang din natin nabasa itong minutes. Kaya hindi po natin ito siya nasasagot nung nakaraan. Pero ganun pa man, nasa sa atin pa rin po yun kung ano yung decision natin.
Question po. So, wala na po, pag-mo. Kutsari Juan.
So, Kutsari, I move that the minutes of the 87th regular session of 11th Sangguniang Bayan of Sofronio Española held on October 14, 2024 at the Session Hall of Sangguniang Bayan of Sofronio Española, Palawan be adopted.
It has been moved into and seconded. The minutes of the 89th regular session of the 11th Sangguniang Bayan of Sofronio Española held on October 14, 2024 at the Session Hall of the Sangguniang Bayan of Sofronio Española, Palawan is adopted. Next.
For your consideration and approval, release of the 90th regular session of the 11th Sangguniang Bayan of Sofronio Española held on October 21, 2024 at the Session Hall of the Sangguniang Bayan, Sofronio Española, Palawan, attended by the majority of the Sangguniang Bayan members. The temporary presiding officer, Honorable Jua Daher, may call the session to order at 9:35 in the morning. The secretary called the roll after the prayer and the singing of the national anthem. With only 6 members present, the temporary presiding officer declared a 10-minute recess to wait for the other members to appear in the session hall. After the arrival of Councilor Jonathan J. Mo and Councilor Fred A. Ganongay Jr., both appeared at 9:40 and 9:41 in the morning respectively. The session resumed at 9:41 in the morning, and with 8 members present, the temporary presiding officer declared the presence of a quorum to transact official business. Councilor Shiro P. Reyes arrived at 9:52 in the morning. Reading and consideration of the minutes, the presentation and consideration of the minutes of 89th regular session was deferred until the next session as moved by Councilor Fred A. Ganongay Jr. duly seconded by Councilor Michael L. Jordan. Subsequent to the request of the Secretary to the Sangguniang, since minutes were not available yet as entries and privilege were yet to be validated and counter-checked with the cited laws of Councilor Gatugay Jr. For privilege and question hour, Councilor Gatugay Jr. sought recognition to manifest and present the legal basis for his proposed measure, which was asked during the previous session, but after a few lines, he was told by the temporary presiding officer and instructed that the same be presented during consideration of the measure for second reading. First reading and referral of proposed measures and communications. First, communication from the Human Resource Management.
Thank you po. Any questions? If there's none, can we move? Chat God.
I move that the minutes of the 19th regular session of the 11th Sangguniang Bayan of Sofronio Española held on October 21, 2024, the Session Hall of Sangguniang Bayan, Sofronio Española, Palawan, be adopted.
Okay, it has been moved and duly seconded. Minutes of the 98th regular session of the 11th Sangguniang Bayan of Sofronio Española held on October 21, 2024 at the Session Hall of the Sangguniang Bayan, Sofronio Española, Palawan is adopted. Letter F, privilege and question R. Wala po. Letter G, first reading and referral of proposed measures and communications, none. Letter H, committee report. Number 1, committee report number 2024-43 of the Committee on Finance and Budget Appropriation.
Mr. Presiding, I go to table for the report. We don't have a report for this preparing the investing. Yes, I want to the table for this.
Okay po, request granted. Letter I, calendar of business. Letter A, unfinished business. From previous administration, none. From previous session, none. Letter B, business for the day. Second reading. Draft resolution number 2024, that's 277. Chaired by Councilor Nina.
Draft Resolution number 2024-277, adopting the 2025-2030 Gender and Development Agenda of Municipality of Sofronio Española, sponsored by yours truly. Whereas Section 14, Article 2 of the 1987 Constitution declares the state policy that recognizes the role of women in nation building and ensures the fundamental equality before the law of women and men. Whereas the Republic Act RA number 7192, the Women in Development and Nation Building Act, which was signed into law on February 12, 1992, promotes the integration of women as full of equal partners of men in development and nation building. Whereas Executive Order number 273 dated September 8, 1995, the Philippines Plan for Gender Responsive Development, PPGD 1995-202, direct all government agency, department, bureaus, offices, and instrumentalities, including government-owned or controlled corporation at the national, subnational, and local level to institutionalize controlled corporation at the national, subnational, and local level. God efforts in government by incorporating God concern in the respective planning, programming, and budgeting process. Whereas the long-term plan of the PPDD is to integrate fully God concern into the whole development process, and that all heads of government agencies with the assistance of the respective God focal points, DFP, shall be primarily responsible for the institutionalization and mainstreaming of God in their agency. Whereas Republic Act Number 9710, the Magna Carta of Women, and its implementing rules, the regulation IRR were approved on August 14, 2009 and March 10, 2010, respectively, that prescribe the God focal point system in all government, reinforce the role of women in nation building, promote empowerment of women, and ensure equal opportunity and access for women and men to resources and development result and outcome. Whereas Philippine Commission on Women as the primarily policy making the coordinating body on promotion and achievement of gender equality and women empowerment in government issued PCW Memorandum Circular Number 2018-04 dated September 19, 2018, providing the revised guidelines on the preparation of the GAD agenda for national government agencies, government-owned and controlled corporation, and other nation government instrumentalities, and incorporating therein the various GAD-related international commitment as expressed in the Philippines Development Plan 2017-2022, the GW Plan to 2019-2025, and the various sectoral plans. Whereas the GAD Agenda 2025 and 2030 of the Municipality of Sofronio Española is a midterm GAD plan and budget aligned with the national GAD related policies and international commitments consistent with the PDP 2019-2022, the GW Plan 2019-2025, and the various sectoral plans. Whereas the LGU GAD focal point system and GAD TWG have formulated the GAD Agenda 2025-2030, Annex A thereof, which integrate all its gender-responsive programs, activities, and projects as basis for its annual GAD plans and budget within the next 5 years, geared to address pressing GAD issue of the locality. Now, therefore, on motion on Councilor Blanc, duly seconded by the Councilor Blanc, be it resolved as it hereby resolved to adopt the 2025-2030 Gender and Development Agenda of the Municipality of Sofronio Española. Resolved finally that the copies of the resolution be furnished to the Municipal Mayor, Sofronio Española, and to all other concerned to their information, reference, and appropriate action.
Any question po? Ako si Joan.
Tingin na lang po siguro tayo ng sa sharing officer ng yung Annex A, yung GAD Agenda 2025 para may compare tayo.
Okay po.
Kung ano yung mga napapalog dito, yung plano para makapag-enforce din tayo ng information sa ating mga kababayan.
Ako, matay po. There's none, can we move to sa nila?
Draft Resolution Number 2024-277 adopting the 2025-2030 Gender and Development Agenda of the Municipality of Sofronio Española be approved.
Hindi.
It has been moved and duly seconded. Draft Resolution Number 2024-277 adopting the 2025 to 2030 Gender and Development Agenda of the Municipality of Sofronio Española is adopted. Third and final reading. Number 1. Draft Ordinance Number 2024-302 granting the health benefits to all employees of the local government of Sofronio Española, authored by Councilor Fred A. Gatongay Jr. is approved. For third and final reading. Unassigned business, none. So, letter G, announcement po. Sino po ka? So, wala na po. Ako meron. Kasi po, parang 2 weeks na ako nagpa-approve ng cash advance ko. May PCL board meeting po kasi bukas. So, nagtataka ako, wala po. Pinacheck ko na naman yung check doon, wala daw budget. Paano po, di ba may mga budget naman tayo naka ano sa para sa atin? Bakit? Baka kayo meron din, hindi na ako. Paano po pala action natin dito? Konsel Toto Dilos.
Good morning sa lahat, no? Kasi marami akong, hindi ko na po narinig ko lang kung talagang may na totoo. Yung iba, may mga butcher, pero nakakalusot, pero mga device. Pero nagtataka ako sa atin na may budget, na wala yung budget, na hindi na approve. Siguro, mas maganda siguro para sa akin, no? Either ipatawag natin si accountant o si budget, o either puntahan natin mamaya. Puntahan na lang, no? Ano ng body, kasi para malaman natin ba kung ano talaga nangyari, kasi 2 weeks na ano na siyempre kailangan din natin marami
Kaya nga po.
nagsusulitin sa atin, wala tayong pagbigay. Diba? Tapos yung mga butcher natin, yung sa pamerinda natin, kinamo napansin mo, tubig na lang ngayon muna, station sa tubig. Dahil yung mga butcher natin, hindi nakakalabas, hindi na bigit. So, depende sa body kung anong maging maganda. Next session, ipatawag natin.
Next session po, or
So, para ni Secretary. Si Budget, tsaka si siguro patawag natin, si Accountant. Dalawa sila. Kasi naman importante doon eh. Sa treasurer wala problema kasi kung may chiki naman, gagawa naman sa chiki. So, yun lang sa akin, 0% figure.
so, okay, kala ko ako lang may problema. Laki ng registration bukas, walang pang-register. So, wala na po. Adjournment. Ay, Ma'am Secretary, paano po ha? Next session na po si accountant at si budget. So, adjournment.
Okay, so wala na. Mr. President, I move to adjourn our regular session.
I'm seconded.
Okay. It has been moved into the seconded. Our 91st regular session is now adjourned.